And Good Friday morning. So continuing on our talking about our upcoming yoga teacher training. Ashley on her Wednesday talked about some of the challenges that we have, which are really, again, life challenges. People have taken some of these challenges. I've seen them pop up all other places and Weight Watchers and other places like that. Get in control of your life. Get in control of all of your life. So what I'm going to talk about today, though, is our reading list, and go through the 5 books we have that are on our reading list. The first book is an interesting one, and this is kind of interesting because it almost should be the last book and the first book, and this is Theme Weaver. Theme Weaver by my friend Michelle, and she's the first 25 pages are really kind of a blueprint of why do I want to become a yoga teacher? What am I looking for? What's my voice? What's going to be my direction? How do I want to speak to the class? What, really kind of defines into that what you want to get out of it. What do you want to contribute? What are you looking to share? So that being the case, we're going to have everybody is going to be doing those 20. There's a test at the end of that test, a questionnaire to fill in the blanks. Like these words resonate. You list like the first 25 words that you resonate with you, and then you start crossing off the list and coming down and down and down until you get maybe to the top 3 and kind of help define your mission statement, your brand, what you would, so to speak. That term is used a lot these days. And so this is the book you're going to do beforehand, do that test, and sometime toward the end of the class I'm going to have you redo it just to see if things have changed throughout taking the class now. Has your focus changed at all? Just to clarify that. But otherwise, this book is a great read, and we do really spend a lot of time in the actual mythology of this book on how to bring messages to classes, enhance the class through messaging, really kind of tie the poses into a theme that you're trying to weave. Hence, Theme Weaver. How clever, right? So that's a very important book, and not to be early and late for this class. The next book is a different book. It's How Yoga Works, and this book is interesting because it's basically the Yoga Sutras, but written from a Tibetan slant. It's more storytelling, so it's like if you're telling the Yoga Sutras through storytelling, and it's a very interesting read. I mean, it's easy to get through because of the storytelling, but yet it really hits home all of the important parts that need to be gleaned from this, from the yoga philosophy standpoint. And this is again we'll have like a book discussion on some of these, and we'll continue to weave them into the discussions in class. You're not going to be doing poses for 16 days. There's a lot of theory, a lot of other things that come into play. One other thing that comes into play, and I don't have the book, so I'll hold this up backwards, is Yoga Anatomy. Now, how we're going to do that, Leslie Klamanoff's book, Yoga Anatomy, is our guide. And I stole this from another yoga teacher, so it's not like I'm not a genius, but what it is we're going to focus on, for Yoga Anatomy, we're going to focus on a move, like a yoga twist, the twist in yoga. We'll go to the book and understand what's involved in twists, and then we turn that into a description of teaching of the twists, how to teach twists, and then we go right into practicum of where you're actually, as a student, now taking over and describing the motions that go into twist. So rather than have anatomy as just one big slug, which by the way was the way I had it, and it gets to be a snooze. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I mean, because you're being very active in the yoga teacher training, and then up comes the slides and up comes the discussion. So what we're going to do is break it into many different modules, like I think it's 8 modules. Again, it's on our, if you go to Yoga Alliance, you can see everything we're going to teach you. It's all there. If you go to the Wisconsin Educational Improvement Program Board, the EAP board, you can see our whole syllabus there too. No secrets here. But we're going to teach you a move, like standing poses. Go through the anatomy of what's happening in standing poses, and then learn the poses, and then you teaching back to maybe small groups, each other, whatever, breaking into small groups, trading off. There's a lot of different ways to teach. Sometimes you don't teach the whole class, you just break off in twos, and now you counter teach to each other. So that type of thing. And of course, you want to break into small things because you want as much practice as you can in working through the voice and getting your voice and describing this very important aspect of yoga, the yoga anatomy. So we're going to, again, take it from a bit by bit, twists to sun salutations, very critical yoga anatomy issues there, shoulders, and obviously So take it from that aspect of the anatomy book. But it's a very big book, and we're not expecting you to like read through it. We want to really kind of highlight the pose in the book, different sections, then go do it, and then go teach it. That's it. The next book on the list is one of my favorites, The Yamas and Niyamas, by Deb Adele. I should know. I actually saw her in person one time. This book is, again, really kind of principles to live by: nonviolence, truthfulness, non-stealing, non-excess. And she does a very good job of taking it into everyday life. For example, non-stealing. I love her example of non-stealing. How many times does someone say, "Oh boy, did I have a great experience. I just went to this thing and I did this," and right away, our own minds, we want to justify. We want to somehow we have to feel we have to pipe in and say, "Oh yeah, I did that too," or "Yeah, I did something like that," or we start to interrupt and steal their moment. That's stealing. So we're learning to shut the heck up and just let someone talk and be let them have their moment, have their joy, and not have to one-up it. That's one of the little diamonds in this book. But it's all about all principles, again, of do no violence. And that includes doing no violence to yourself, beating yourself up over things, self-judgment, whether it be weight or looks or, clothes or anything like that. All the dumb little things that we heap on ourselves until we're just loaded down. So no nonviolence, the Yamas and Niyamas, which, by the way, ties really nicely into Theme Weaver, because you can work beautiful themes around these, and whichever one resonates with you. And the last book is more, again, from a yoga philosophy book, The Alchemist, Paul Coelho, and this book is more a self-discovery type of journey, but it's written again in storytale. Now, the book makes it again. Ashley and I had this discussion, and the book we learned from. By the way, of all these books here, this is the only one that I had in my yoga teacher training. So, let's just say we have our own tastes, and one of the tastes was there's another book out there, and I was talking to another client here. It's the thing that got him into yoga, A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, and it's a fascinating read of kind of understanding the ego, the mind, all of the things that kind of keep us from being happy and keep us in a kind of a state of constant stress, frustration, whatever, that whole, my destination of happiness is down the road. I can't have it here because I don't have this yet. I don't have that yet. Okay, all that stuff. But it's really, this guy Eckhart Tolle loves 3-syllable words or more, and it's a hard read. Valuable, yeah, but instead we're going to kind of keep it a little bit more mainstream, not mainstream, but just easier to get the principles through. You really had to dig on that other book, and for that reason, this guy said after I read the first chapter, I wanted to put it down. And how many books have we luckily survived the first chapter and went on to have a really interesting experience? So those are the 5 books. This is what we're going to, be part of the practice, mingle it in, not just reviewing the book, but kind of mingle in how do you teach the class with these kind of concepts. And I think it's a really good way to intertwine everything together. Yeah, there's going to be nights that there's going to be a time we may just have a book review, kind of, sit down, have a beverage, and you don't have book reviews without a glass of wine or something, and just go over and talk it over and just see everybody's opinions, because, again, a long time ago, I thought I was the smartest guy in the room, and luckily, I've become a lot wiser than to know that no, it's not the case. So I don't want to ever think that know-it-all, and I hope you don't either, because that's a frustrating place to be. But anyway, let's see you. Let's hear your comments. You're more than welcome to write something and get answers to it as well. If there's a book that's affected you in your life that's in a yoga bent, I'd like to know it too, because we're always looking ourselves. Again, you never stop learning, so we're always looking ourselves to find new ways to read something that's really interesting. And with that, I'm off, and I'll be back next Friday. Ashley will be here Wednesday at noon, and it's getting close to the deadline of getting the early bird savings, $400. Is nothing to balk at. So check it out. Get a little, if you want to stop in, see me, if you're in the neighborhood, write us. contact us on Facebook, contact us on through the web page. All that different ways to communicate. Be in the know. Really get your feelings down. And I will see you soon. Bye. And finish.